So this is another attempt at making a video. The other two that I made, I was quite unsatisfied with how they came out, and I think I'm just going to avoid that whole thought process in this video. I'm yet to wrap Slayer up as a thought, let alone a video, so I guess I'll just be short and snappy to the point. Slayer was okay, had its good days and its bads, as every skill does. I'd say it was a bit too easy to sort of say I'm never going to do it again, because it was quite nice to just really chill out with it and not do anything, particularly impressive with it. Just, meander along to the strength XP that I was trying to get, so just short of 200. It was alright. Yeah, probably will do more. Maybe probably alter the task set, because I got really sick of it near the end. So yeah, probably more Mage Slay to get magic higher, rather than viewing Slayer as an extension of strength, or melee at least, when I was doing it this time around. But yeah, so I wouldn't really be fooled by what I'm doing in game at the moment. This is Blastmine. It's one of the better pieces of content on Saya. Sort of a nice compromise in mining. It's the pretty decent XP, pretty decent GP alternative for the clicking, but a lot of the clicking is it'll look like this. It's like I think a 12 or 13 tick cycle to set a bomb, and it's 12, 13 ticks. It's like three clicks or something to place and then light. So it's pretty easy to move my mouse around willy-nilly and go and do all those interesting things on the side of playing RuneScape. So for that part, it's good. Definitely leaning towards viewing blast mining as a extension of money making rather than mining itself, so that I'll have a bit of money to sort of invest into some more interesting things in the future, because doing this to 200 mil would be about 2,500 hours, and the only thing that comes close to that amount of time is the 150 mil agility that I did. And it's not difficult to do that much agility. It's so easy. But yeah, the sort of transition from Slayer. Well, I dipped around with I did a bit of rune crafting just because I didn't really know what to do, so I sort of just sat and did 6 mil RC just whilst waiting for Ging, and also just trying to wind down from Slayer, because the last couple of months of it I got really worked up. I was getting overly paranoid about certain tasks and certain just miscellaneous Slayer numbers, like that, and I'd finished like a month before Ging and had to find something to do. I got like 50 mil attack nearly, just not really knowing what I wanted to do, and then the whole proposal of changing Eve's Cave came about, which is a good update, but relearning stuff is kind of stressful. It's enjoyable, but it can be kind of stressful, so I just sort of decided to get the fuck out of that before it just destroyed my sort of rhythm that I had with it, the I don't know, consistency I had with it, sort of thing. I'll definitely, if I ever go back, learn it, though. I'll have to learn it. So yeah, the idea was really to do this or 4G with Herbentar. I've tried both methods out for a relatively adequate amount of time, I'd say, as far as testing methods go with me and skills. So I usually will just jump straight into it and not change the way I do it. Snow fishing. Did snow fishing from 20 mil to 193 mil without really doing anything interesting in the middle, just consistent as fuck snow fishing. But with mining, I gave each method a bit of time, probably about 30 hours in each method, I'd say. Just seeing what I liked and disliked about it. But again, I came to the sort of conclusion that I would view mining as an extension of money making. Were it be that I was to view it as mining, so mining is mining, I would have definitely done 4G. It's a lot of clicking for a lot of time, but it's just so much better for mining XP in comparison to this than anything really. And I only did it for 30 hours and I was already getting the hang of it. I was getting confident enough to move my mouse off the screen for a tick at a time, very sort of reminiscent of how fishing was, with that sort of restricted external gameplay that I had, running around the screen and everything. But yeah, with viewing it as an extension of money, I ended up coming back here. I don't know if any experienced blast furnaces or blast miners are watching or anything, but I'm not doing anything fancy. This is a very basic rotation, same rotation for all 4 rotations that you get with. Is it 5? Might be 5. 5 rotations that you get with an invent of dynamite. Just because I pay such little attention, I probably wouldn't trust myself to do the 4 separate patterns, 5 separate patterns. I really don't know how many events you do per event. Yeah, so I just do this. It's alright. It's still about 72k an hour, which is really damn good for how little effort it is. Maybe when you think about like getting 72k an hour doing 4G this time 3 years ago, you'd be a fucking god. But now I can do 72k XP an hour and you can get about 10 GPN XP for it. So it's working out pretty well. The transition into this was very difficult, and it's the reason that I flip-flopped around 4G and Blastmine more than Ging did. He just sort of tried out he tried out 4G for like an hour before thinking, nah, fuck it. But I really wanted to give it a chance because 4G is very much the final frontier when it comes to skilling, in my opinion. So the sort of cause and effect of my RuneScape experience was the easiest pierce agility, slowly step it up to 3-tick fishing, even though it's a relatively easy method as far as 3-tick fish is concerned, and then finally make my way to the final frontier, the 400 APM skill, 1500 hours. So that was definitely something I kind of wanted to do it for that reason, just to sort of get that personal, my personal recognition of being able to do something like that. But it worked out that if I did do that to 200 mil, I could have got it done before the end of the year, and that was also something that was really appealing to me. But to spend another 7 months on a huge skill to not yet finish the 10,000 hour goal of a magic on sub 20k. I think I worked it out actually that it's probably averaged around like 19.2 or 21 or something K an hour. Magic an hour. It's like the entire duration, because I've really sucked at imbuing with Slayer, so I get like 50k XP an hour. But yeah, to do another big skill like that, a big skill, a long skill, a difficult skill, and then to still just be over 1,000 hours short of finishing Magic was something that really drove me mad. As much as knowing that if I was to do Blast Mine, I'd be here for 2,500 hours and more. I'd still not get. I'd still not get the 200 mil from that. This is about 17k XP an hour or something. But it would make a decent sized dent in it, but it still wouldn't get me there. So it's really a good compromise to view this as a means of money making rather than the skill itself. So that sort of helped me accept that I'm going to be here for the next 6 or so months. I don't know, because it was around May last year that I stopped fishing and went into my existential crisis of May 2016, which I don't. If anyone remembers, that was a right shit show. I just could not decide what I wanted to do. I was hunting one day and then I was doing clues the next day, and I tried out astrals again and didn't like them. But so it's to be expected, really. This whole sort of transition into a new skill after finishing a decently sized one. So yeah, definitely more interesting to view this as an extension of money making rather than a means of mining. So yeah, I'll probably get this. I wouldn't be surprised if this takes me to October. So what's that? Like fucking obnoxious as fuck. Windows 10 date and time just jumps into the middle of the frame. I wouldn't be surprised if it takes me to October. Yeah, so start of October, so just about. Is that just about 5 months to get to October? That sounds about right, and yeah, I'm not really too sure of what numbers in terms of hours I can put up with this skill. I'd say 100, just around 100 mil mining, and that would give me a pretty nice, I don't know, 80 mil GP or something, because it's about 10 GP and XP as I mentioned. Any long-term miners though, I really wouldn't recommend this. It's quite incredibly long, and as far as money making means go, it's pretty bad. I could have just waited for double deaths, and once they'd come out, just go do those instead. But I've already done a significant amount of runecrafting XP, and I don't really have much desire to just spend the like 2 years just repeating myself, sort of the RC for 6 months, go do Slay, finish that bit of Slayer to go and RC for 6 months to then go and Slay again. I feel as if switching it up a bit between the two would be switching from the astrals to this would be is a lot better than sort of gambling with my motivation and returning to something that I did in the past. Also, I always have this really bad habit of remembering things being better than they were, as I romanticize the idea of some things. So astrals are pretty enjoyable and relaxing, etc. It's probably for the best to sort of experiment with other aspects of the game, especially when my need for the money isn't too urgent. I've got a bit of cash lying around that I could easily invest back into Slayer, and this isn't really supplying an immediate need for the Slayer. I just sort of have a time frame, and I'll operate within that time frame before it's it's over. Another thing I really like about blast mining is that I can sort of remain active, sort of remain. I don't have to ignore people because I'm clicking too much. I don't have to neglect clan regarded things because clicking too much. Very important person after all. So this whole being able to remain interactive with communities, various communities, is very good. And it's something that really don't give skills enough sort of praise for, is that whole being able to remain active in the CC. I remember when I was doing fishing, I just sort of, because the best way to fish was, well, unless you wanted to be a fucking autist and count to 8, the best way to fish was to just read the chat box, and once the chat box filled up, you'd prance again and get the snow. So I ended up spending about 7 months like only reading the CC a handful of times because I was just so dependent on the chat box, and I didn't like counting whilst reading subs or anything like that. So yeah, this is filling all of the criteria. Probably by like I don't know, I got about 100k dynamite, so I'll see how I feel when that's over. So I'll be at about 44 mil by the end of that, and then I'll go see what it's like to just buy a handful more, and then they use those up. Another thing there really is that I say that I want to do this for the money, but I don't want to sell my ores. I don't like the same reason I didn't want to sell my tab for Slayer. I just I like having those items in my bank. I like knowing that I am the only person who's touched those items in my bank. If you know what I mean, I've worked for those items. I haven't gone and just bought them. I've actually bent my back and worked from. Well, makes it sound like Iron Man would be a very appealing game mode to me, but probably not. So yeah, this video is really just a sort of where I'm up to. A Too Long didn't watch for others though, really. Too Long wasn't listening rather, because he must have been watching it to get to this point. Just like finished Slayer. Slayer was okay. As comes with ending every skill, I had some sort of crisis of not knowing what to do. Decided to settle down with Blastmine because it is cool, unique content and it gives money. Money at which point I'll use for something a bit more interesting than Blastmine. But yeah, this video is definitely going to get rid of the idea of having to make a video before the end of the year, really. Which, as bad as it is for everybody watching, it's something that I love. Getting rid of that burden of, feeling as if I owe a video or something. I've definitely experienced it with my failed attempts, people asking where they've gone, and I was just really not satisfied with how those videos turned out, so I removed them, and everyone's like, yo, where the fuck did they go? Where's the videos? I wanted the videos. It's not on a scale of fucking anything in like mega, but it still shows to me that some people are interested in my content and I'm effectively robbing them of that, so I felt kind of bad and sort of feel as if I need to pump this one out before the sort of freshness of my decision making is gone, and I just sort of make a video saying, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I don't really know why I'm doing this, but I've given some sort of neutral thoughts of why I'm doing this over 4G. If I was viewing mining as mining, I'd definitely be doing 4G, but alas, I am viewing mining as money making, so Blastmine is filling that criteria, and I can keep imbuing for my 0 time XP, which is the main point of my account. Anyway, I've rambled on for nearly 20 minutes now. I'm not particularly sure what the message was in this video, but I'd like to thank you all for your time, and I hope you have a great day.